Red alert has been issued across all of Israel. Iran has, in fact, launched a major wave of ballistic missiles from the city of Shiraz, triggering red alerts across nearly the entire map of Israel. From Haifa in the north of Israel to Eilat in the south, air raid sirens, they are blaring. Red alert has been issued. Air raid sirens can be heard in cities like Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Beer Sheva, Haifa, and dozens more towns, signaling a widespread and coordinated missile barrage that is incoming from Iran. These are the latest visuals that you can see on your screens of the sort of destruction that has taken place in Israel. We are getting you these visuals that you can see on your screen. The visual alert map, it also shows near total coverage, and this is an unprecedented event in the history of Israel's civil defense system. Red alert has been issued after Iran's missile strikes on almost the entirety of Israel. And this is the big breaking news that we are getting you at the top of this hour. Iran has launched a major wave of ballistic missiles from the city of Shiraz. My colleague Mohammad Ghazali joins us to get us more on this. Ghazali, take us through the latest that you can hear from right now.
See, this is the third day of a counter-strike by Iran, because this war was started by Israel by launching attacks inside Iran. Today, throughout the day, multiple locations, not just in the capital city of Tehran, but at different locations in Iran. There were oil depots, there were refineries, which are all sort of attacked by Israeli airstrikes. And it was anticipated that by evening, Iran will also retaliate. And late, just a few minutes ago, these ballistic missiles were launched from Iran towards Israeli city. And multiple cities have been impacted, not just in the north where Haifa is located, which is close to the Lebanese border, but towards Eilat, an area which is close to Egypt and borders with Jordan as well. So that particular area, they have all come under these aerial strikes from Iran. Only later we'll get to know the impact of these attacks, because Israel's aerial defense system has managed to intercept most of it. But the visual certainly suggests that the areas which have been hit has taken severe impact of this ballistic missile attack. Now, in the larger scheme of things, we'll have to see that how both the countries will drag this war for as many days, because US President Mr. Donald Trump has also sort of changed his tune in the last 24 hours, first warning Iran that it will not be allowed to sort of develop a nuclear bomb, but also asking it to go to the negotiating table. But now, in today's Truth Social post on his social media, he has clearly said that the war should end between both sides. Both Iran and Israel have been asked to stop the war. Earlier, it was these statements were just intended towards Iran to stop its attack towards Israel. But now, it appears that even US President has now got the he has realized the impact of if the war prolongs for many days, because it will have severe impact on the international economy, as far as the movement of freight is concerned, as far as other US bases in the Middle East is concerned, because they have all come under the threat from Iran, which says that any country which supports Israel in this strike will pay the price. So a larger tension is engulfing Middle East, and Mr. Trump, who had won the presidential election on the claim that he will be the person who will bring peace to Middle East and Europe both, and will stop both the wars, has certainly failed in sort of fulfilling those promises.
Minister, Aragachi's accusation of US involvement in the current situation. Ghazali, how might this affect Washington's diplomatic positioning in this particular region? Could this derail US efforts to de-escalate now?
Certainly, it shows that the kind of impact US had, it has certainly exposed two things. One, that even Israel is not in US's control, because it was often believed, and it is believed, that the US has got a very credible ally in Middle East, that is Israel. But if we were to believe Mr. Trump's statement that we were not part of this attack, then certainly Israel has overstepped. And if you don't believe this statement, then it means that it was a well-coordinated attack, by US and Israel both against Iran, and that will certainly derail the negotiations which are going on between Iran and US, because Iran's foreign minister, the president, and other prominent leaders have clearly hinted that now it is no point trusting US with its negotiations and talks when it comes to Iran's capability to develop nuclear bomb.
Right. Ghazali, stay with us, because what we are hearing from the IDF at the moment is that the IDF struck an Iranian refueling aircraft at Mashhad airport in eastern Iran, which is approximately 2,300 kilometers from Israel. The IF is operating to establish aerial superiority over Iranian airspace, is what the IDF has posted. What is more important and what is crucial is that this marks the longest range strike that has been conducted since the beginning of Operation Rising Lion.
Yes, certainly. This is the longest range attack since this war has broke out. But what the Iranian sources are claiming, that perhaps there could be Israeli agents inside Iranian territory who may have launched this attack, and not a direct attack from Israel's territory into Iran's. So that is also disputed right now. But if you go by Israel's statement, they claim that this is their aerial strike and they have launched it from their own territory into Iran. So it is only escalating, and we'll have to see whether this escalation can go towards a de-escalation, or whether the world powers like China, Russia, or even the United States will force both the parties to sit on negotiation and bring a halt to this war.
Iran has alleged that Mossad agents, they have been near Tehran, they have been captured, and there are multiple unverified reports coming out of Iran right now. Does this also indicate a shift towards a more aggressive internal security doctrine for Iran? Or is this more about optics or psychological warfare at this moment?
See, for Iran, it is a catch-22 situation right now. Because if they don't go for an all-out war, the domestic pressure will grow on Mr. Khamenei, who is the supreme leader right now. And he also faces another challenge, that most of his advisors, the senior military commanders, the ones who were part of the nuclear program, or the ones who were part of the negotiating team, most of them have been killed in Israeli strikes. So he also has to ensure his own safety, because the way Israeli jets are maneuvering in Iran's sky, it certainly shows that they have completely bypassed or penetrated through Iran's aerial space. So in that sense, either if Iran doesn't respond proportionately, if it doesn't respond proportionately, there will be domestic pressure on them. And it is also about the kind of influence Iran has in the Islamic world. They also have to consider that factor as well.
Right. Having said that, Ghazali, give us a sense of what extent are Gulf states like the Saudi Arabia or the UAE now preparing for, are they preparing for a fallout, or are they preparing for involvement in this conflict? Are there any sort of signs of coalition shift that is forming at the moment?
No, I think so, because if you would have seen the reaction of Arab states, even when Hamas attacked Israel, and then later the way Israel had continued its strikes into Gaza Strip, none of the Arab states have extended any kind of military support or even any diplomatic effort to stop Israel, because all this while they have only issued verbal statements of condemnation, and more so when it's the involvement of Iran, they will certainly take a step back. They don't want Iran's influence to grow in the Middle East, because they have all seen the kind of militias Iran had grown in different countries like Hezbollah in Lebanon. You had Houthis in Yemen. You have Hamas, which is also an ally of Israel. And then there are other militias which are operating from Iraq as well. So this is something which the Arab states will certainly not, they don't want the war to get to their doorsteps. They will certainly take a step back. And also, most of these countries, be it Qatar, be it Saudi Arabia, be it UAE, or even Iraq, they all have got US air bases there, or military bases in some of the regions. So they easily allow Israel to use their airspace. But when it comes to Iran's response, they will certainly block or even shoot down the projectiles emanating from Iran towards Israel. So that shows that the Arab states also don't want to support Iran. It is more of a cosmetic and verbal support which they have been issuing for the last 3 days.
All right.